And just like that, we are live. Okay. Welcome in, beautiful people. It's March 5th. It's your boy, Kobe Cali, Coach Kobe. And we are testing out this live. Let's see how it works out. It's my first time hopping on here live and test out a few things, see how everything works, get my settings right. You guys are kind, so you're going to bear with me as I figure this steps out. Today we're talking about insulin resistance, and boy, do we have a good one for you. And we'll see how these lives work out. Because if it's good, we'll keep it going. If not, shoot, we'll figure something else out. Okay, let me see if I can go like this a little bit here. That might be better, more better. Okay, is that more better, more better? Okay, there we go. Get my mic all set up here. So what is insulin resistance? Yeah, critical that we figure this one out. So let's go. I'm gonna get this. Yeah, give me a second here as I get my situation figured out. Let's see. There we go. I think that should be good. You guys let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me cleanly and hear me. Hopefully everything is working. Test, 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 test. All right. Hold up. Why is this not that loud? I can't even hear. Oh, should be interesting. So, what is insulin resistance? Insulin resistance is a condition. We've been conditioned to believe, really, that the quality of our health boils down to calories in versus calories out. That's what I learned as a trainer. That's what I learned is studying health and all the different levels, both academically, both in the gym, everywhere. Just calories in, calories out, calories in, calories out. It's a simple metabolic equation. Yeah. But here's the thing. Although total energy expenditure and consumption do play a role, hormones are the critical piece of signaling what to do with those calories. Now, this should really be good news for a lot of you because it means that it explains why your cousin Kwame, right, can eat whatever he wants to eat, or your cousin Akos can eat whatever she wants to eat, and they can pack on the fufu, the banku, the ogusu soup, all of that. They can pack it on, and they seem to never gain any weight because it's not simply just calories in, calories out, because we're not machines. That is an equation that's derived from machines, and we're not machines because we have this thing called hormones, and machines don't. And they play a critical role. So I'm going to attempt the impossible here and try to oversimplify this a little bit. First and foremost, obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I do play one on television. Just kidding. But I have helped a lot of people fix their metabolic health, like a lot of people. So, and I've done a good amount of research on this. So, and I've tested out myself multiple. So I'm just sharing just experiences, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Not a doctor. So obviously check with your doctor before you do any of this stuff. And I give that as a disclaimer because we live in a very litigious world here. So just sharing some information for you guys, take it or leave it, but let's narrow it down to two key hormones for our purposes when it comes to whether you're talking about belly fat, whether you're talking about different types of conditions, diabetes, things of that nature, And I'm pulling these resources, guys, so that you can do your own research. Let me give you some of the references and things that I'm pulling from. First and foremost, like why we get sick, the hidden pandemic or the hidden epidemic at the root of most chronic diseases and how to fight it. Written by the great Dr. Benjamin Bickman. Dr. Benjamin Bickman, who I've had the pleasure of hearing speak, and is if you guys haven't picked up that book, go for it. Metabolical, I believe that's by Dr. Robert Lustig, and the Obesity Code by the great Dr. Jason Fung. I haven't heard him speak yet, but I definitely would love to. The Hunger Code that I believe came out not long ago, and a couple PubMed articles. Maybe I'll put them in the description so you guys can check them out for yourself. Again, do your own research, but really, when we start to boil this down, we see that it makes sense, far more sense than what we've been told. But that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's simple, but not easy. So let's get into it. I'll oversimplify this topic a little bit, as I mentioned, to insulin resistance to this point to get the point across. So let's narrow it down to the two hormones, insulin and glucagon. And it's sort of analogous or the sort of a cousin, if you will, with the GLP-1, which we've been hearing quite a bit about. See, when insulin is high, glucagon is low. And that means that we're burning sugar for energy. So let me backtrack that a little bit. So when insulin is high and glucagon will be low, we're burning sugar for energy. And when glucagon is high and insulin is low, we're burning fat for energy. Now that might be kind of confusing. So I even can narrow down even more to just insulin, right? When insulin is low, fat must go. That's simple, right? So you can remember when insulin is low, fat must go. Because it's two, the glucagon and insulin, they work, they're kind of like yin and yang. They work in like they're push and pull, right? It's like your bicep and your tricep. They work together, but they're opposites. Okay. So, for example, after a period of not eating, such as in the morning when we wake up, our insulin is low, our glucagon is high, and that means fat must go. So, we're burning fat. Now, how high glucagon is and how low insulin is are based on different factors, right? Like the quality of our last meal, how stressed we are, quality of sleep. But the biggest one is what we eat, right? One becomes insulin resistant when the cell stops responding well to insulin, so the pancreas produces more insulin to keep the blood sugar level stable. This leads to a state of high insulin levels and normal blood sugar levels, which is also called insulin resistant. So, put simply, just like anything, right? If you, let's say, you drink God forbid, alcohol, and you've drink for a while, well, you're gonna kind of one beer probably isn't gonna do it for you. You probably need two beers, right? Two beers or more, depending on how long you've been drinking and what your style is. So it's just like the same thing. It's just you get used to it and you need more to get the same effect. So insulin resistance really is a two-sided coin. The one side, certain cells become less sensitive to insulin, as mentioned below. On the other side, the pancreas produces too much insulin because the cells need more insulin to function, which is what we said earlier, right? We need more just to get the same effect. Now, here, let's backtrack here a little bit. All right. More than a third of adults in the United States were living with prediabetes in 2018. 84% of them didn't know. And I look at it, you guys might know the great Mike Rashid. Um, Follow him on YouTube. Honestly, great guy. I love his Instagram as well. And I really appreciate that he made this video where, I mean, if you've seen the guy's jacked. I mean, he's the epitome of like manlyhood, jacked, tons of muscles, lifts heavy weight. And I was shocked to see like a video, and I really appreciate him for putting this out, where he talked about being told that he was pre-diabetic, I believe. And you guys can find that video. And I look at this, or insulin resistant, one of the two. And I look at this guy, I'm like, there is no way a bodybuilder like that who looks great, no fat on his body, can possibly have or be pre-diabetic. No way. How does that work? So that's what really took me down the rabbit hole. But this is what we have to understand. Insulin resistance comes before pre-diabetes, right? It's like a conveyor belt. It's like, and the thing is, we have so many years to fix it because it's not something that just boop, happens overnight. And the thing that we have to really remember is that insulin resistance has been identified as the root cause of numerous other conditions that are treated individually with medication. Now, I have, as you see here, the insulin resistance tree. We'll pop, maybe you'll pop that up at some point, and when I figure out how to actually pop things up. But so many things are on this tree, guys. I mean, heart attack, dementia, PCOS, gout, stroke, arthritis. I mean, obviously, adipose tissue or fat, or specifically belly fat, and specifically visceral fat, which is the fat that's stored around the organs, that's literally choking out the organs. Right, because the body is ever so intelligent that it's not going to put excess fat and inflammation and all these different excess um, things that it's storing. It's not going to put that around, your liver or your heart, or hopefully not, right? But we'll get to that later. It's going to try to store it around your belly first and preserve those things, right? But we do see cases of non-alcoholic fatty liver, for example, right? And we do see fat around the heart when it just gets to the level where it's just the body has nowhere else to put it. I have some pieces out there already, and guys, I want you guys to check this out, where we talk about the science of insulin resistance. Now, comment which one of these really you want me to go into it a little bit more, and I will, but I'll just dance through them real quickly. And again, you can go into the references that I put out, and do your own background research. But the biggest one, particularly for men, is a waist to height circumference. Waist to height circumference. Basically, if you more round than tall, it's a problem. Number two is obviously the abdominal fat, and this is the one we deal with the most because like everybody wants a six pack. We live in a six pack world. Number three, we have the elevated blood sugar. That is an obvious one. Now, if you have elevated blood sugar, that means that your insulin has been elevated for a while because the body will increase insulin to try to control blood sugar. When it can no longer control blood sugar, that's when you're seeing elevated blood sugar levels, blood glucose levels. HDL cholesterol, triglycerides, right? Your blood pressure, swollen ankles. If you're hungry, even after you eat, you have sugar cravings, you have dark patches, right? Frequent urination, extreme thirst, irregular menstrual cycle, PCOS for women, erectile dysfunction for men, skin tags. So what can we do? Because we always try to bring good news. There are two main issues to address here: spiking in insulin too high and spiking insulin too often, meaning eating the wrong foods and eating too frequently. So the wrong foods will spike them too high, eating too frequently will spike it often. So we address it by reverse engineering that. We eat better foods. And we'll talk about why we should focus on the how we eat as we improve our food quality, because that also matters. All right. If we how we process and prepare the food has a very large impact on how the food actually functions and is received by the body. And then number two is we reduce meal frequency or we practice fasting. So here's what I do, right? I'm controlling the carbs that are coming in, especially processed carbs. And I'm so things like, whole fruits, vegetables as the main source of carbs as opposed to let's say like bread or like flour based things. And obviously everybody responds differently, but it's been shown scientifically that carbs do spike, especially processed carbs do spike insulin a lot higher than proteins and fat. Number two, I prioritize animal protein. Now, this is something that we've waffled on. There's a lot of debate. I'm just telling you guys what I do and what others do that are getting results. Number three, we prioritize eating good fats. Think like avocado, think ghee, butter, etc. Then we practice fasting. Fasting is probably one of the most natural remedies that's in human history besides utilizing, let's say, like plants and things of that nature, right? And then there are other good practices. Obviously, we want to get our sleep, we want to reduce stress, exercises, etc. Now, fasting remains the most powerful tool for reversing or completely avoiding insulin resistance. However, if you've tried fasting before and you got too hungry, you were too hungry or hard to maintain your lifestyle, then the process or the protocol that I use may be one that you want to check out. If that's the case, then let me know in the comments and I'll get that out to you guys for free. So you can learn the process. And obviously, um, I also use some products as well to help me with the process and the protocol. So if you guys want that as well, happy to send you the link. Until next time, peace.